Alright guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. So I put out a video earlier showcasing the new Monster Hunt co-op gameplay from Outriders. Really impressed with that stuff. I'm just looking for a bit more information around expeditions, and then I'm pretty convinced that I might just pick it up day one, especially if there's no other kind of looter shooters on the market at the time for me to kind of get into. I mean, as soon as I hear looter shooter, I'm a scrub. I just want to get involved. I want to miss out, so I may jump on it. I only plan to release, I didn't even plan to release that video. Actually, the footage came out today from IGN and I just covered it earlier on. And I thought that would be it. But actually, what we've got now is a developer update on the Outriders demo. Now, I have played the demo. I played it for 3 or 4 hours before I did my impressions, and I've played it a little bit more since then, but I've not played as much as some people. So I just want to make that perfectly clear as I get into this one. So let's just go over the developer update, because I think that a lot of people are going to be interested in this, so it's worth going over. So it says, it's hard to believe that a week has already flown by since we released the Outriders demo to the world. Since demo launch, we've closely watched over 2 million players download and battle their way through the war-torn hellscape of Enoch. That's pretty impressive, and we're excited to welcome many more as we advance to launch day on April 1st and beyond. To that end, we wanted to share some bundled information about the demo launch week and our plans for the future. So this is future news as well, guys. So let's see what we got. The story so far, as you remember, we launched the demo last Thursday for a few short hours. There were some connectivity issues, blah. We kept everyone updated on the situation via Twitter and the status page as well. Since launch, we've also been tracking issues and providing temporary workarounds for those that we're able to recreate on our site. Which brings us on to what's next. What's next? What are our plans for the demo and for launch? As mentioned previously, any patches and changes for the demo need to be carefully balanced with our work towards launching the full game. Nevertheless, here are our plans for the future of the demo. So patching the demo, resolutions that apply to all platforms. They're going to add a motion blur toggle, all platforms. This is the best news because the motion blur is pretty bad in this game. Made minor tweaks to the frame rate output for certain items in cutscenes. However, we are working on a more comprehensive fix for the future. Made improvements to cut down on the time it takes to matchmake, and made other minor improvements and fixes. Additional resolutions that apply only to PC, fixed a crash that repeatedly occurred. These are just crash fixes, so these are all good. Resolutions to Xbox platforms, fixed menu prompts not displaying correctly. And then we got some other fixes there for the PlayStation platforms. Let's move on to the changes to the demo. A back-end update to the demo will be done during a short maintenance on Friday, March 5th, so that's tomorrow, at 3 PM GMT. This will affect all platforms. The change should be quite seamless and will not require you to download a patch. We are pre-announcing it now in order to give you advance notice of the changes. And then it just let's just move on from this. Of course, it's every player's decision how to play the game for themselves, and we don't want to prevent people from farming the demo for gear if they enjoy it. However, we would like to ensure that this process is not overly simplistic, easy, or prone to exploitation. So what's changes? Changes to captions. The caption mob ability Healing Light will have its effectiveness reduced. The Captain Mob ability From the Ashes and Phoenix Aura will have their cooldowns increased. Some players were finding it hard to fully kill captains who would trigger these abilities, making for a frustrating rather than a challenging but fun encounter. So, bosses are being nerfed. Changes to... I'm not going to pronounce that. Will have his health points increased for repeat playthroughs. This is to ensure that he remains fun and challenging for players who are overpowered at this point in the story. Healing from his ability still will be increased. So they've obviously buffed this boss, Gauss. I probably said that wrong. Changes to loot drops. While we do not want to prevent farming runs, we get it, obviously. The loot cave discovered via the triple chest run, as well as the store exploit, do not feel to be within the spirit of the game. To that end, we are redirecting farming efforts to mechanics in the game that may be more enjoyable for players to play through and repeat. Epic items will no longer appear in shops and vendors within the demo. Chests will no longer drop legendary items, so that's the chest exploit done. Side quest rewards on repeat runs will now have a chance to drop legendary items, so that's good. So what they've done is they've moved it away from chests and they've added it into the side quests, just so that you're not having to farm chests. So overall, it's not really. I think that's a good change. Drop rates for enemies are not being changed at this time, as we feel these are balanced quite well for the average player experience. RIP that captain. Note that running this backend update now is also a way for us to preemptively ensure that such backend balancing can be straightforward. Other notes and things we are addressing. Camera shake during cutscenes and dialogues. Oh, this will be good. This is not something that we're able to address fully for the demo, but we are aware of the desire from players to see the shaking reduced. We believe that removing the 30 FPS restriction during these scenes will help reduce the impact of the camera movement, but we are continuing to investigate what can be done here. This is really good, transparent news, because this for me was one of the biggest issues that I had with the game. I couldn't get into the story because I just couldn't watch the cutscenes. Matchmaking, while the upcoming match may help alleviate some issues here, we are keeping a close eye on the time it takes to matchmake and continue investigating where such matchmaking is taking longer than it should. They have to get this fixed, right? This is what Avengers had this issue where you weren't able to matchmake at all, I don't think. I'm not sure if that's the case here or if it's just the loading times. But they need to get this done as soon as possible. This, for me, is one of the core things for them. The cover system. Since the demo launch, we've been paying special attention to all player feedback and have been reading discussions about how the cover system in Outriders. While this is not something that we're able to fix within the demo at the time, the main game will not include a slew of bug fixes for many cover locations. Will not only, include a slew of bug fixes for many cover locations, but also address and fix a handful of systematic issues that are currently affecting the cover mechanic on a global level. This is good. Again, great news, because I personally I never really had that much of an issue with the cover system, although I could tell it wasn't as good as some other games like The Division or any game that really uses Gears of War, for example. But one of the main issues that people had is that you would press A or whatever to get into cover, and you'd have to press it a couple of times before you would get into cover. So hopefully that's what they're fixing. Items disappearing from players' inventories. This is an issue that I've seen, so that they're obviously going to fix this. In the spirit of transparency, love to hear it. While we do not currently have a system in place that can automatically restore an affected player's complete inventory, our teams are nevertheless working hard to see what may be possible in the near future. I mean, that is about as transparent as you could possibly get. They're saying, look, there's nothing we can do at the moment, but we are working to get it fixed. Cheating and players using obvious exploits. We are aware of a handful of players who are using third-party software to alter the game files and save data in their favour. While we cannot go into details, we would like to assure all regular players that we're able to identify cheaters with relative ease via our back-end system, and that our actions should not affect your regular playing or your co-experience. Again, this is really good news as well, that they've come out and they're confident that their systems that can detect this stuff will work and it will get rid of cheating and stuff. You don't want that in the game. Finally, we are continuing to work hard on polishing the main game ready for launch on April 1st. We are continuing to track player feedback and bugs coming out of the demo. We'd like to close this update by once again thanking everyone for playing the Outriders demo and sharing your feelings about with us here. We can't wait for you to experience the full journey. So I think for me personally, the transparency here is just excellent. They're coming out and they're saying, look, these are the issues. Some of them we really don't have a fix for right now, but we're going to work on it. Some of them we can fix. Some of them we may not be able to fix. For example, the shakiness. It could be tied to FPS, but they don't really know, and they're not sure that they can completely fix that, but they're going to try. So that transparency is excellent. You kind of know what you're getting with this, and it's rare to get this much transparency from a studio. So this is really, really good, really good news. And ultimately, I think people are going to be happy with this, really happy with this. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of the demo because there's some stuff in it for me personally that I just don't like. With that said, it is a looter shooter. I love looter shooters, and after watching the Monster Hunt co-op gameplay today, after looking a bit more into Expeditions, I'm liking where the game is going. The end game looks awesome. The build variety, the modding, the skills, the skill tree, stuff like that. That stuff interests me. And the game is ultimately fun, right? There's no doubt about it. It was fun when I played it. It's just that there was some stuff for me that I couldn't get around. The camera shaking for me, for one, I couldn't get around. And people were saying, the story is okay. It's pretty good. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't watch any of the cutscenes, which really pushed it out for me. But there you go, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Until tomorrow's video, when I've got a Division 2 video coming out, epic out.